For joining us, everybody. Always the way. Right, so it's show 100. I can't believe we've made it this far already. I don't believe anybody listens to us, so I don't know why we're even sat here. Thank you everybody for joining us. We're here for a really good cause today. We're here to support the Kai and Prince Foundation, which is a charity close to our hearts and means a lot to a lot of people. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce the founder of the charity, Dr. Mark Prince, to come and say a few words and let you all know why we're here for us today.
Hi everyone. Hello. Could you give yourself another round of applause for coming here and supporting this, please? I first met Mike when he gave me a shout, was it over Twitter, Mike? To just come down and talk a little bit about the charity and what we do. So I'm going to just share with you guys in a nutshell what we do. We're really passionate about young people's lives. We see the way that they've got this mindset where they're killing each other. And we understand that to be able to get this to change, we have to change the mindset. So that's what we do. I'm going to share more with you how we do it, why we began, and where the drive and the passion for Kai and Prince Foundation comes from. But just for now, I just want to thank you all for coming and supporting this. This means a lot to me. Thanks, guys.
So in the raffle, the prizes we've got so far, we've got a signed Frank Bruno glove that's in the bag with certificate of a signed Nigel Benn glove. We have a signed t-shirt from Dave Allen. Here, Team Rhino. We have 2 copies signed by the Prince of Peace himself. We have a Rocky Balboa box set. 2 tickets to a Goodwin fight night.
Yes.
17th of November. And the booby prizes are 2 BTR caps, a red one and a purple one. Model by myself. Obviously. Right, all good. Right, so we'll start with the first prize.
Shake it. I'm sturdy.
You guys stand up and go up.
What number am I got? Come on, Dwight. What's my number?
Okay.
Shuffle them up.
Purple, Beyond the Ropes cap. Just 1 ticket.
1 ticket.
Okay.
1 ticket.
This could be really awkward if no one attends.
Where's the cap?
Blue.
1, 6, 3.
Is there a number or a name on the back?
Pink! Come on!
Brendan Horgan. Ah, this is
Go on, Brendan!
he's playing the numbers game, but he's won. 50. Okay, up next is stylish red BTR cap, worn by the best people in the world. I'm sure if you bleach it, yeah, pink.
199.
Orange 199. Am I colourblind? Is that orange? JMO.
Come on down, Jess.
So it's one of your friends. That's your responsibility now? Right, okay, the Rocky Balboa DVD box set.
Come on, Dave. Balancing it on your head.
Another blue on the mind. Blue 24. Name? It's my scroll. Martin Theobald. So he's from the New Age podcast. He's not with us today.
Forget him.
No, we can't. No, we can't. He's one. He's not here, but he's one. So have we bumped Martin? Is that what's happened now?
No.
Who was responsible for the pink ones? You got Dave? Yeah? Yeah. What's the name, mate?
Oh,
What's the name, mate? What's the name, mate? What's the name, not me?
This is an absolute fast name.
Number one.
Number one.
Yeah, what's the number?
29.
That was 120. Wait.
Just throw it in.
What is this nameless ticket?
I'm acting like that.
Romana?
Yeah, that's the one word.
Right, okay, so it's a Prince of Peace book signed by Mark. So that's your business, mate.
So how do you have that first?
Hey, have you won that?
What do you want to put on that?
That's a best wishes job.
Does it say, can you just read out exactly what it says on the back of the ticket?
It just says Romana.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Rowena.
Right, okay.
Romana.
Go and collect it. Romana. Yeah, Romana.
No more pink ones. No more pink ones now.
Go on, Romana. Well done, Romana.
Yeah, look. I think that's definitely us.
Is that Rowena? Yeah. Okay, is that Rowena?
No, it's actually Ramona.
Yeah, we have another copy of the book as well. And there will be copies of this book on sale as well, so come and see Mark afterwards if you want to get a copy of this.
What colour you want this?
Cool, we should be able to see it. You've got to look away at least. You've got to at least look away. Just because it matches your time, that's not fair.
74.
What does it say on the back?
On the back it says, it's not yours, it says at the back.
Ben.
Oh, that's Ben Kelly.
Right, so this is definitely a fix. She wants a date. No one likes ridiculous.
Sure, this is a fix.
No one can.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Stop being a hater. Don't be a hater.
I can't trust this man. I can't trust him. This is for the Goodwin Fight Night tickets.
Blue 88, blue 88.
What's happened here?
Blue 88.
Let's go.
Rich Cowie.
That's not fair though.
Rich Cowie.
Alright, this I'm not looking at it. It comes out.
It's fine. Right, so this for now. This is for the Dave Allen signed t-shirt. It's got a little scroll on it somewhere.
Blue 19, blue 19. Who's that?
Dave, what colour are your days?
Right, Martin Theobald. Now he knows Dave Allen, so we're not doing that. And you know what? Brixton Mayer, you can tell him he's not having this one. We'll go again.
Number 3.
Yellow 3.
Yellow 3.
Derek.
What have I got?
No.
You got Dave Allen signed.
No.
It doesn't matter. It's alright, it's going to fit.
Okay.
It's a fix, Dave's my mate.
Ollie, ollie, ollie.
What's all that? Has he got
It
that?
says Ollie at the back. Yes. Oh look, I picked out 2 Ollies.
Right, so if we pull these tickets without even say what they're for.
Please.
Yeah. Whatever it's for.
He's won it.
Right, okay. Left or right? Which one? Quickly.
They're both Ollie.
Both the same.
Just pick one. Just pick either one. Left. Okay, so whoever's got that left ticket has got the signed Frank Bruno.
Oh, imagine you got the right one.
What's it all about?
Right, because it's right there.
115, 115.
We can definitely bring that. We can bring that.
It's only between numbers.
Right. What was the number? You Frank, Frank.
115.
This is a joke. Do you know, we're never doing this again. Say that now.
How many tickets they buy, Jason?
Right, 114. Ollie, you have won the Frank Bruno signed glove. Oh, so he's not even here? As a waste.
They buy Bubbly's investment. I'll take it.
Okay.
Cancel charity. I'll treble it.
How can number one not win anything? You're number one.
I'm supposed to say the prize first, I'm sure. Right, so whatever that colour is, like an aqua greeny colour, number one, you have won the signed Nigel Benn glove. Absolutely fuming that's not me as well.
Who is it?
Who's J-Mo?
That looks like my number, man.
If J-Mo isn't here, he's not getting his glove, I'll tell you that.
No, fuck him.
Is he here? Is he here?
He's not here, he's not having it.
Right, so no one's sending the link to the recording. We're fine.
Draw again. Draw again.
You want a hat? Okay, so you can't win again. You can't win again.
How many tickets
Make up the rules as we go along, yeah?
Listen,
Yeah,
it's for charity, I don't care.
Draw again.
Drop again.
Charity! For charity! Come on!
You girls rolling up my right for the Nigel Benn glove. Please let this be someone in the room.
Someone here, please!
Pressure's on now. 26.
Oh, that's definitely someone from my work.
Do you know what? We're not allowed it anymore. Just go away.
Okay.
I think you might be going for more than just a drink.
Is it Paige?
What does it say underneath?
HBPL?
That's me, yeah,
I know
that's
it's
me.
you.
Oh, no, forget that one.
It's a fix!
John.
Forget her.
I'm giving it back.
Forget, yeah, Mike. Yeah, give it back. Mike.
What is there?
Mike.
Oh my god, no! I can't with her.
Mike.
I've said it on camera. It's
Keep going to let someone in here
Can't
wins.
mess
This
with
is
her.
ridiculous.
Sit down.
Take your glove and leave. And please never come back here again. I don't care if it's your wife. Right, so that's all our prizes.
I'm going to be monitoring.
Right, so, do you know what? We've got you all sat down now. We're going to sit and we're going to talk with Mark, Spencer Fearon, wherever you are.
Is he here?
No. He said he was going to come. I'm not going to fan off anybody. prick. But we're here with Mark. And this is what it's nice about anyway. So do you know what? I'm going to let Mark talk for a minute about the Kind Prince Foundation and what we're here for. And then we'll do a bit of a Q&A and we'll see where we end up. And then definitely have some drinks because I feel like everybody's already done the way there now. Okay, so can you please bless us with why we're here today?
Don't you think that we didn't just watch a boxing film, we watched something a little bit more than just a boxing film? It's a bit deep in it. This is my take on Rocky. We all got a bit of Paulie in us. Paulie don't want to accept change. Paulie fights against change. Do you remember how Paulie was acting in the film? Moaning, complaining, don't accept anything. Another beautiful moment was when the wife broke down the truth and helped him to face his fears and look at the real reason why he wasn't stepping up and doing what he was doing. And I think we've all had those moments in our life. So we all got Paulie in us because we don't want to accept change and we fight against change. And we've all got the ability to face our fears and be real with ourselves, be honest about where we're at, what we really want in life, just to bring that greatness out in us. And only us being truthful with ourselves can do that. And only us believing in ourselves can we move on to that next stage in our life. And I love the way that Rocky had to go through that moment to be able to get to the next stage in his life, for him to experience this victory and this great moment. So why am I talking about all this stuff? Because all of us have had to go through these rocky times in our own life. And my rocky time, my opponent, we've all got opponents, they're not as badass as Clubber Lang, but we got our opponents. And my opponent was unforgiveness. So just imagine your worst nightmare. You love your kids, you know, you're just a young dad. I was 17 when my girlfriend said I'm pregnant, and we were excited. And so I had 2 kids, 2 little lovely daughter and a lovely little son, and my whole life was put into bringing up these beautiful children. And I felt that I had significance now. I've got these kids and great responsibility. So I stepped up. I was homeless at 15. I was quite my head was all over the place. I was a mess. And having kids just eventually got me focused. And I decided to stop being in drugs and crime and all this crazy street life. And I decided to do something. So I decided to be a boxer. Crazy. I was 21, and I thought I'm gonna fight. I could be a champion. I want to be a champion. I'm gonna do it. And everyone's like, yeah, all right, Prince. You know, you just smoke weed and do illegal stuff. So we can't see you ever putting on gloves and beating anyone. Being a champ, you can fight on the streets. You can swing, but this is a different game. This is professionals. But I didn't listen to that, and I was determined, and I believed. Like Rocky got to that moment where he believed, and I changed my life around, and I was really proud that I changed my life around for my children and for myself. And watching my children growing up, that was awesome, because I imagined that when I was 21 and I began thinking about my son, what's he gonna say to me when he says, Dad, what you gonna be? Dad, what do you do? Because I remember this moment so clearly. I was thinking, my son's going to ask me one day, Dad, what do you do? And I thought, what am I going to tell him, that I shot weed and I do this fraud, I do this, and I thought that's no good. I got to be the dad that I want him to be, not tell him. So now I was #1 in Britain. Now I was fighting for the world title, and I was 18-0 undefeated, and I was just on top of the world. It was a great feeling. So then my world crashed, and I couldn't fight anymore because I smashed my knee, and basically I had to stay focused and find a way to move through that. Some more rocky moments, some more opponents. And during that time, I decided, let me give back to my community. I wanted to contribute. And I'd been a kid on the street, all this knife crime had been going on. So I thought, let me help these guys. So I started using my boxing to train these kids, and I started working for different councils, Islington and Hackney, all these different councils, and doing great work. And it was awesome, and I loved it. And even though it didn't bring me in the money, I loved it because I was watching lives being changed. So I kept doing that job, and I used to bring my son on the training, and he loved it, and he was doing great in football. He was a great footballer. And what happened was, the same kind of young people that I was helping to take off that mentality, one day my son's at school, and my son's just going about his day, and he's a really cool guy. Everyone loves my boy. He's a very great footballer because he aspired. Because of my journey, I was able to input great stuff into his mind, and he aspired to be a great footballer. And he was becoming that because he played for QPR youths, He was doing a great job, and he was tipped to be one of the top strikers. He was always the top striker for the club for the year. And what he was tipped to be was to play for England, and they used to call him the Bullet, and everyone talked about him and how he was going to be a great potential. And I get a phone call saying my son got stabbed at school. He's trying to break up a fight, and the guy pulls out a knife, and my son says, "What are you doing with that? Put it away, man." And the guy just attacked him, pushed the knife in his heart, and my son died right outside the school in front of hundreds of young people. So, another rocky moment. I have a new opponent. It's unforgiveness. It's anger. I'm battling a new kind of fight. So I thought boxing was tough. I thought being homeless was tough. I thought coming off drugs was tough. I thought all this stuff I'd been through in life was tough. I thought burying one of my little babies in a coffin was tough, that was stillborn. All this stuff I'd been through in my life, I thought my life was tough. I'd seen the worst of stuff already, but it was nothing compared to burying my son and dealing with this waking up every day and not having him in my life. And it was just surreal listening to the news and hearing your son's name. It was like being in the twilight zone. It's just like out of body experience. So what do I do? How do I deal with this? So at first it's a lot of anger. I'm a fighter. I'm a man from the roads. I got my friends are still from the roads, and they're ringing me like, "Yo, Prince, we heard what's gone down, bruv. Tell me that's not your son. I just heard name on the TV." And then I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, "Okay, we got this. We got this. This guy can't stay alive. We're gonna take him out." So we're in a position here where we don't have to go and do this myself. Other people want to do this. What do you do? How do we deal with this? More crossroads. And I've been on a journey that's been very, very difficult. But I decided to do something that I never believed that I could do. I didn't actually think that was possible for me, which was to forgive somebody who took the most precious thing out of my life. And what did that mean? What did that mean for me? What was I going to do with my life now? I couldn't see, this life weren't worth living now. I knew I had other children. I love all my children, but you take my little crew away, I've accumulated now a little team. You know, I've got Tanisa, she's now 31. I've got Kyan, who would have been 28. I've got Jodeci, who's 25. I've got Malik, who's 21. I've got Kishon, he is 17. He's going to be 18 next week. I've got Micaiah, he is 14 today. God bless him. And I've got my little team, and that's all I live for. Now one of my team members are taken out. My whole world's broken up, and I just want to deal with this guy, and I decide to forgive him, because if I don't, what's going to become of me? The bitterness and the anger that's within me, that rests in me, that's going to ruin my life. Forgiveness is a strange thing, because we think it's about the other person. We think it's something to do with letting them off, and it isn't. Because I realized I wasn't functioning properly. I wasn't functioning right. There was so much anger. I couldn't even sleep without dreaming about enjoying, killing, and taking this guy's life. And through the process of forgiveness now, I'm able to now go back out and help the same guys with the mindset who are sharing with me and saying to me, "Prince, we've stabbed. We've hurt people." Now imagine how I feel when I'm still filled with anger against Hanad Hussein, who killed my son, And now this guy who I've come to speak to is sharing with me and telling me that he's hurt and stabbed other people. That same anger is going to transfer to him. So I can't have that in me, because now I want to help people in my community that have offended and hurt others, because it's no point us not moving forward to help, because that means they're still out there messing with other people's lives. And if I can do something to stop that cycle, to break that cycle, then I will. So I've committed my life to helping these young men and these young women that get involved in this mindset, because we call it knife crime. Knife crime? I've never seen a knife commit crime. That don't make sense to me. People, young people are killing people with a knife, with a gun. The narrative's all wrong. We look at them as bad men, gangs. That's all wrong too, because I'll tell you something, hurting people hurt people. Hurting people hurt people, because when I was hurting, because I ran away from home at 15, I had a lot of anger in me, and I hurt people. I went and done robberies. That's not nice. That's hurting someone. I went and done fraud. That's not nice. You're working for your money. You're doing something constructive, and I'm fraudulently taking from you. I'm selling drugs and poisoning somebody else and just using, okay, it's okay because they've chosen to do this. No, this isn't the right way to live life, because we have to contribute back. We're all responsible for each other. We're all connected in some way and some form. So we have to ensure that we're doing the right thing, not just for ourselves, because it impacts everybody else. So I realized I needed to do the right thing for my friends and my community by showing them that this is what I'm willing to do. I'm not going to kill this guy. I'm not going to keep anger. I'm going to begin a cycle of love and forgiveness so I can be able to heal these other young people. So here's the reward that I got for this. I was able, from being in a place where I didn't know whether I could get up and function anymore, I got to a place where I used to stand in front of young people, and this is what's happening nowadays, and watch them just fixated on listening to me, inspiring them, telling them how amazing and how special they are, and showing them how to make the right decisions, how your mindset and your beliefs is what controls how you act. And listening and watching them give me feedback and the impact they was having in their lives. Now this is what's being continued through Kiyan Prince Foundation, because I thought if I could bring up my son to do well and for him to be amazing and him to use his potential, then I'm sure if you put me and give me time with other young people, I will have that impact too. So that's the gift that I've been given, because I stepped forward and believed and faced my fear. So the reward and the position that I'm in now is where I want to run a campaign. I want to tour London. I want to be able to go to all the schools. Why? Because if I can go and do all this work over the years and see the impact it's having, then I just had this thought. What's stopping me from going out to all the schools and asking those young people who now believe in what I'm saying to stand up? A call to action from young people to stand up against knife crime. For them themselves to join me as we start to change the narrative and look at those people who are committing these crimes as people that are in need of help and support, because their mindset's so warped, they've made the wrong decisions, and they don't really see the real pain and destruction that they're causing, not only for themselves, but for their children. They're not thinking about their children. They're thinking, yeah, I'm a bad boy, no one's going to chop on my kids. No, my friend, when your kid goes to school, because you've been perpetrating this behavior is going to be perpetrated and come down on your own children. So I want to make these young people wise to what's going on. And it's been working, but we need the backing and support. I'm not even asking the government for nothing, because I've been on the news countless times. Some of you may have seen me. I've done lots of work out there. But what happened is I've realized I don't know if they really want this thing to end. I don't know if that's why they create all these gangs and knife crime and all this narrative, because maybe crime pays, but not for the criminals. but for the people that have set up the system that allows how much money to go in for the prison system and all the different systems that we have. So I want to be able to go at this and tackle this at the throat. We need to get out to the children. I'm asking the public everywhere I go to support the Kiyan Prince Foundation. Two things I would ask of you. If you feel that, you know what, I can do something to contribute, because contributing is the most powerful thing that we have to do in this society with each other. We can change our community and look after our community just by looking after each other. I don't think we realize this. How we treat each other changes that community, how we look out for each other. If you have a community of people that are just selfish and thinking about their self, that's not a nice community to come into. If you have a community of people that love and care about each other, got each other's back, that's a different community. It's just like a home. You walk into a happy home and everybody's laughing and joking, they get on with each other, then that's a nice home to be in. When you go into one of these arguments, fights, it's not a nice atmosphere. And this is just on a big scale. So we're dealing with communities. I want to educate these young people how to become entrepreneurs. How instead of using your skills, because we all have been gifted with something in this life to give to this planet. And instead of using your anger and your hurt to hurt others to get what you want, why don't you use it to bless others now? So your transferable skills, you make all this effort to go out and sell drugs. So we're going to teach you, you don't have to sell drugs. You can sell gel, you can sell t-shirts, you can sell whatever it is you want and create your own business out of it. We need to just teach them a different way. And this is what KPF wants to do. So I'm sharing with you my vision. I'm sharing with you what's in my mind, I'm sharing with you what's in my heart. I have something in me that believes this will work. I know this will. And I believe that if the community can support individuals like me with my initiative and what I'm doing, here's how I worked it. One day I was by my grave and I shared a Facebook message. The Facebook message I shared got about 400,000, hit 20,000 shares. People were sharing their views, and I thought, imagine this. I'm here struggling all the time, out here working with these youths, trying to make change. And I hear people all the time, knife crime, what are we gonna do, blah, blah, blah. But you can do something. And if in your life, you're wrapped up in your life and what you're doing, then support somebody else who is. Because we can't all do the same thing, and I understand that. So I'm saying, if everyone on that page, instead of pressing like, press www.kiyan.org, or the new website is www.thekpf.com. If they press that instead of like, and just said, let me go direct debit and give these guys £2 a month. Did you know how much impact that would have? So you got 100,000 people pressing likes and 100,000 people saying, you know what, I might not be able to do what you do, but I can support you to travel through London and get through to more young people. I haven't got the money to do it and travel every day to go and see these, because I've committed my life to doing this. So I'm asking the people, my communities, to be able to take part and do this. Tell your friends what you're passionate about, that you spoke with me today, and that you would like them to share in this new vision and be a part of this new tree of people, this new community of people that's focused on making change. What you get from that is this. I'll ensure that everything we do is transparent. I'll ensure that the videos are shown. You'll meet the young people that are speaking about the impact this is having, the changes that this is making. We're going to be able to support them more with long-term programs that focus on showing them how you can set a goal, how you can reach that goal. School doesn't teach this. School doesn't teach financial literacy. School doesn't teach the things that are necessary, the life skills that you really need. So great, you got a master's, great, you got all this, but how about your life skills to be able to get through to the job that you actually want with the master's degree that you've got? I've met many people in McDonald's and they got masters and degrees and all of that, but that's not what they really want. We want to teach these young people how to get what they really want in life. So will you support and help me to do that, guys? You can send me messages. You can let me know once you've done it. You can do it on the website. And also what I'd like is people, if they would like to do more, you can give 2 hours of your time a month. So you're involved in it. You can come and see what's happening. You know, you can share your story with young people. Whatever skills you may have. You know, because at the moment we're just looking for office space. We're looking for IT equipment, because this is the struggle when you're not one of those high profile charities. But we're actually really addressing the stuff and the issues that matter to us. We're addressing it, but we don't have all that high profile cancer research and all the others. We don't have that. So we've got to go and meet people, share the story, and ask them if there's support. So it'd be wonderful if I go on my website and I can see that all these people here, they've now become donators to KPF just for this charity, this campaign for us to get food to all the schools in London. It's going to take us about a year or two, but I think Knife Prime itself is a 10-year plan, because we have to look at the generations that we're saving coming before. We're never going to fix this. It's not a quick fix. It's not the police. It's not all this stuff you hear on TV. It ain't. You know, I work in the front lines. I deal with the young people, so I know what's going on. So guys, let's work together and see if we can make change, and I'd love you to be included in this. God bless you. Thanks for listening.
Thank you so much, Mark. I spoke to Mark earlier on this year, and we sat down for probably it must have been well over an hour. And I speak to a lot of boxers, but it's not difficult for me to say that story. When he told me it from the bottom to the top, it absolutely broke me. Now, there's a lot of people in this room that have children of their own, and you can't even comprehend what this man's been through. So if anybody here can support, please do. This is what tonight's all about, to try and put some money in the pockets there to get them out to these schools to make a real difference. As I said, if Team BTR can get Mark out to 1 school, 2 schools, 3 schools, then we've made a difference, and that's all we're trying to do. So, boys, should we move on to a bit of a Q&A? I mean, Mark's, obviously, apart from the story he's got, he's actually been a fantastic boxer, challenged all the way up to world title level. So he's a wealth of experience. If you've got any questions, just fire them over. Obviously, you can text them into that number, or you can just grab a microphone or shout them out. It's absolutely fine. Just don't be shy. We're all friends here.
And I don't mind stories about the story.
Oh no! All right, can I do one quickly then?
Yeah, cool.
You see when you said
That lady had
you mashed up your knee?
Yeah.
Can you tell us how you did it?
Really?
I don't mind, but
Come on.
Okay. Okay. I'll put it in the book, you know.
It's definitely in the book.
Okay.
Buy the book, by the way. Buy the book.
So I'm working with my brother. He's asked me to. I've got a gap in between. I was in Frank Brown for 5 years. I've just come away from a contract, and I'm talking to Don King and other promoters, Jackie Callan in America, and they want to take me on. So I'm thinking, okay, what am I going to do? So my brother says, come and do some work with me doing security until you decide what you're going to do. So I said, all right, cool. So I was doing some work with my brother, and you always get them leery ones, them guys you meet that's just there, and it wasn't the normal security. It was I don't know if you go concerts, and when you go, there's the merchandise, the guys selling merchandise outside, and then they've got the original merchandise inside. So we've got to control the guys selling the illegal stuff outside. And my brother's quite well known, him and myself and my other brother, so they don't really get much trouble, when we're doing security outside. So I'd never seen this guy before, and I just said, look, bruv, you can't sell your merchandise here because you're too close to the venue. Just go down there. And basically, to keep a long story short, he weren't having it, and I'm not going into detail.
You better. Detail.
Alright, so I've gripped his hand and he's happy. I don't want to hit him. I'm a pro fighter. I don't want to damage him. So I thought, let me go a little bit tender. So I've gripped his Adam's apple, and then obviously he can't breathe. So I've gone to just drop him to the ground because he's kind of gone wild. But as I've gone to take him down, I've heard a bit of a in my knee. So my knees, my body's turned, but my knee stayed here. So it's ripped, and I felt this tremendous pain, but I can't deal with the pain because I've got Mr. Wildman who can turn on me, so I've got to deal with him. So in short, we've restrained him, we've told him to leave the site, but when I've got up, my leg is shaking like a leaf in autumn, and I'm thinking, whoa, what have I done here? So I'm getting quite peed off because I'm in pain, and then I thought I've been a bit light with him, I've been too nice, I've let him off. So I thought, where is he? Where's that bastard? So I've gone down the road after him, but I didn't think I'd see him because I told him to piss off. So I thought he'd have enough sense to go. But then I hear this voice, t-shirts for sale, t-shirts. And he's still shotting the t-shirts down the road. So I weren't having it. I went up to him. I thought, I'm not going to use my fist. I'll use the elbows. Bang! So he drops on the floor. Everyone jumps in, tries to put the boot in, and I'm trying to calm him down. You know, why are you being so violent? This guy's not that bad. So I decided, let me get a boot in myself. But I forgot about my knee. So next minute I'm sitting on the floor thinking, why am I sitting on the floor? When I look down, my foot's over there, my knee's sticking out over here. So what's happening, as I've made impact, the whole from here down has just come out the socket. So my foot's over there, and I'm thinking, that's not a natural angle. So once I've recognised that it's in a strange angle, I begin this high-pitched scream. So that's what happened to my foot, basically. Yeah, and that ruined my boxing career. That stopped my boxing career. So it was my fault. I could have, if I just went to the hospital straight after, then they would have seen that there was some ripped ligaments, and I don't know, 6 months, 8 months, a year, I would have been back. But after I booted it and it came straight out, I ripped any good ligaments that was left in there, and they said this is one of the worst knee injuries they've seen, and said, Mr. Prince, you cannot fight at world-class level anymore. Your boxing career is over. So that was tough. Yeah, boom. And I believed the bastard. 13 years later, I decided to change my mind. I said, up yours, mate, I'm making a comeback. And I've done a Rocky. I made a comeback after 13 years, can you imagine that? And my mum was like, oh, son, don't go in the ring and box again. But I didn't listen to her either. I went back in the ring and I boxed, and I won. I won the next 4 fights in a row, and then I retired again. So my record finished at 24 fights, 23 wins, 18 knockouts.
There were some hands up, so has anybody got any questions?
Yeah, questions. Go on.
Over there, Steve.
Go for it.
Can I just say that, you know, sitting in your presence and hearing your stories, like, absolutely, it's outstanding.
Thank you
You're
so
one of
much,
the inspirational people I've ever actually been in their company. Awesome. But just when you were saying about your injury, how did you deal with it after that? You know, you hear about boxers that when they get told they can't fight anymore,
Yeah.
they might fall into a depression or a, you know, how did you cope with that?
Yeah, just like they did, depressed. Just depressed, I was depressed, man. I was depressed. I suppose it had a big impact because I just got married. It was in my first year of marriage, and I think it had a big impact on my marriage. You know, just, it was hard for my wife, and it was hard for me, and I don't think neither of us dealt with it that well. And even though we got a divorce like 10 years later, for me, it was just from the very beginning that things just turned sour.
Zero kind of thing?
What's up, bro?
That was kind of like ground zero?
Yes, that was certainly ground zero, and it was a really hurtful time. But you face your fears, you recognise that you have got to make changes and grow, and that's what I've done. I've done a Rocky and realised that you're scared, man. You need to face those fears, and I made the necessary changes in my life to sort that out. But yeah, thank you. I'm humbled by your comments as well. Thank you, man. Go on, my son.
You come out there, Mark. You do come out.
Yeah, go for it.
It was just, have you recently or in recent years, is there anything that kind of, especially to do with your charity, that kind of maybe wants to get back into boxing or maybe coaching or?
I am a life coach. I'm a professional life coach now because I believe in growing and building yourself through life. So I don't lean on the fact that I used to be a fighter, and you get some people that are like, I used to fight you, I'm still alive, so I've got a life ahead of me and I can recreate myself. That's a wonderful gift that I believe that we have as human beings, that we can recreate ourselves and change our life. We can leave our good jobs and say, well, I'm this, I don't want to work for you and be employed and earn money and be in the comfort zone. I want to challenge myself and bring out my greatness and decide to start my own business. We can do that, we can train ourselves at whatever age, we're limitless. So I forgot why I even brought that up, but yeah, I feel that's quite a decent point anyway.
I got one.
Yeah.
We spoke about this earlier.
Yeah.
If you could apply the mentality from your comeback years to your initial part of your career, what would have happened? And talk about the importance of mentality, because we've spoken a lot about mentality in our podcast about it's more a mental sport than a physical sport.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's difficult to really quantify the effect that burying my son has had on me. But once you decide not to allow bitterness and pain to reside and take control, what happens is you've unleashed this new life of growth, and it's like you can see and your understanding becomes clearer, and you ain't got time to bullshit anymore. You can hear bullshit a mile off. You can hear fake and see fake people a mile off, and the best person that you can see who's being fake is you. And that's what my growth was about. It was about seeing that my marriage was just fake. This wasn't being real. I weren't taking this seriously, and my wife wasn't taking it seriously. We wasn't committed to growing with each other. And I wasn't about how I wanted to change my life around and work and develop myself and develop a business. I just decided to take real steps in every part of my life. And even when I decided to box because Kiyan Prince Foundation wasn't building the way I thought it was. I thought, I was on the Noel Edmonds show. They brought me on this show, and they tricked me. They invited me on and said, we just want you on to talk about knife crime. So I'm coming on the show thinking, they're just gonna talk about knife crime. All of a sudden, Noel Edmonds comes up and just says, no, Mr. Prince, we're not gonna speak about knife crime. Could you come to the stage? So I go to the stage, and this guy brings out a businessman for the Kiyan Prince Foundation to give this man who's doing all this work in the community all the support he needs. Here comes the businessman, and we're going to give him a PR company, the best in the country. Here comes the PR company, and we're going to give him a psychologist to take all of his gifts from his brain and what he's doing and put it into workshops, and now he's got the whole package. And last but not least, we're going to give him a vehicle, a people carrier for him to be able to help and take these kids. So I'm like bawling, like, you watch it, you go on YouTube and watch it. You see me, I'm a broken man. I can't believe I'm like, yes, some help, someone see my journey and what's happening. So I think this is all going to work out, but it doesn't. It doesn't. I realise and soon wake up that people are in it for themselves, for their own reasons. They want their moment of glory, they want their moment of fame, and they will use whatever platform there is that they can use to get what they want in life. So I could have been bitter again about that, but I realised this is just life, this is just people. So I need to learn from this, and I need to learn business acumen myself. And I need to learn how to PR KPF myself. So I began to develop this way about me, just like Rocky, you find a way to win, just like the fighter that's in all of us, just like the champion that's in all of you ladies and gentlemen, that fighter is in you. You have the answer, not anybody else. It is within you. You have what it takes to get to where you need to get to. So I recognised that and I began to tap into that, but I may not have never got there had I not have experienced what I'd gone through with my son. So I hope that answers the question, because I can be a bit long.
Do you remember the question? So it goes, what was your record again? Any other questions? There's an arm up at the back there.
What was it like working with Carly?
Oh wow. They don't know Carly though, do they?
Carly Carew.
They don't know Carly Carew. But I'll tell you anyway, because you know. Working with Carly Carew is an amazing experience. He's talking about the guy that trained me. So Carly Carew, and you'll read it in the book, he comes into my changing rooms. I don't know who he is, and he just says, how do you feel? I'm getting ready to fight for the London finals. If I win this fight, I'm an amateur now, not professional, I'm an amateur. But you gotta understand this, as an amateur, I've decided to go in and fight the best fighters in the country. So I'm 21 years old, it's my first season in boxing. I've taken 9 months to rid myself of alcohol and drugs. I used to take crack, coke, acid tabs and all of that. That was me. And bun weed all day. So I got to get this out of my body. So I've done that for 9 months. Then I've gone straight into the ABAs. I don't know if anyone knows about boxing. It's ABAs. It's like the biggest competition in the country. And I've said, let me have a bash. And they're like, no, you should go into the novices because you just began, and you should leave the big boys alone because these guys represent England. They're the best that the country has to offer. And I was like, no, I need to see if I'm serious or I have illusions of grandeur. So I went into this competition and I began to fight, and I got to the London finals. Amazing. So you asked me, what was it like to deal with Carly? This is what it was like. It was amazing because he's got a way of inspiring you. And I didn't know him. He comes in my change room, he says, how do you feel about this fight? So I'm looking at him like, what? Who are you? And he goes, how do you feel about this fight? You ready to go out? And I'm like, I'm nervous. Because I suffer with nerves badly, yeah? So I'm crapping myself to go out and fight. This guy's won the competition 4 years in a row. So he goes, he just looked at me like this and shitting yourself. He said, they're all scared of you. You just come out of the blue, you're knocking everyone out, now get out there and smack this guy up. And I was like, yeah, all right. And that's the impact he had on me. And I went out there and smashed him up, and he lasted 2 rounds and they quit. He had to come out of the fight, the ref stopped the fight. So Carly had a massive impact on me, and I decided to be with him because before that, Michael Watson's trainer, Eric Seacombe, had spotted me in the gym. And he asked Michael Watson, who was my first ever sparring partner, to spar with me. And they both came up to me afterwards and said, you're going to be a champion one day. And they said, we want to be involved in your career. So his trainer, Michael Watson's trainer, started picking me up, taking me to Hampstead Heath, taking me on runs. So I felt special. But then I met Carly and I zipped off from him and went off to Carly. And I knew Carly wasn't known like Eric Seacombe, Michael Watson's trainer. So I knew that I was limiting myself. But I felt what he had to offer me was so important that I knew that was going to be the catalyst to how I was going to become victorious in boxing. So Carly done a great job in changing my crazy style, getting me focused, getting me believing. It's believing in myself. Carly made me think that no one could beat me, and only I could beat me. So that's what Carly was like. Smashing.
I've got a question.
Yeah.
So you were boxing in and around the mid-90s.
Yeah.
Obviously one of the probably the greatest generations for us as British fight fans. The Benz, the Eubanks, Nazir Hammonds, etc.
Errol Grahams.
Errol Graham, indeed.
Chris Pyatt.
Okay. You. It's not top trumps. So, which one of those fighters would you have kind of, not so much aspired to because you were in their generation, but who did you appreciate the most as a boxing fan at that time?
Oh, I love Nige, because I love heart. I love comebacks, comeback kings. And Nige, when you'd hurt him, he'd always come back. So I get turned on by that. Look at him, he's getting banged, bosh, he gets in there, get in. And that gets me all excited when I see someone coming back from virtual defeat and they find a way to come back. So I think Nige is one of my guys, and not because he was the most skillful or anything. It was the heart of what he brought into the fight. Because boxing's about the spirit of a man. You know, we just look at the swinging and the punching, but it's not. It's the spirit of the individual that's being exposed at that point. And that's why I love watching the Rocky film. I think I just answered that question short, didn't I?
That was
I was
good.
shocked.
I like that. Are there any other questions for Mark today? Oh, two more at the back.
Yeah, go for it.
I'm just going to go like, who's going to win tomorrow, Groves or Smith?
Wow. Wow. It's going to be a hard one to beat Groves, you know. For Smith to beat Groves tomorrow is going to be very hard. I would like to go with Groves. I would like to go with Groves because Smith is a very good fighter. I like him. That's the kind of style I like as well. But I think Groves, he's got everything, and it's his time. You know, when you've peaked and you've matured. I know he's done his arm, but I don't think that's going to hinder him tomorrow. I think he's really seasoned up here, and he's gonna ask questions of a young Smith who's never been in those kind of waters before. I know he's been in some couple of tough fights, but not like Groves. Groves has been banged out. Groves have lost close fights. You know, he's been through it. So I think now is his time. He's going to show these boys who the man is. So I'm going for Groves.
And in West London one as well.
Easy. West London. Go for it, love you.
While Sean's at the bar, would you like a drink?
Yes.
Yes. Sure.
Just shout what
This
you
is
like.
Sean's literally his only contribution to the entire night. So go nuts.
What would you like?
Let's have a shot of brandy.
I'll tell him he can't.
And just to reiterate, Mark's got some copies of his book up here as well. I'm sure that if you purchase one, he will be happy to sign it for you.
Oh, certainly.
Absolutely. It's one of the most gripping. It sounds really bad saying it, but it's such a gripping story.
4.
5.
Anyone else?
It will move you, so it's an amazing story.
Yeah, don't let me go on with the books. I've got 14.
He's got to go home with them.
Don't let me go on with it.
No. So if there's no further questions, we'll wrap up. Oh, no, Steve? Go on.
Oh, it's just what you're saying about Nigel Benn there. Like, you know, his grit and determination, even though he might be coming through adversity. Do you not think that's the kind of way that society is just now with knife crime? Because it's rife right about the country, and it feels as if the authorities are kind of geared up and just want to deal with the punishment side there. They're not proactive, they're reactive.
That's correct.
And you know, it's like, that's the kind of way it feels. Is that the kind of difference that you're trying to make in London? And I feel like we need people like you everywhere across the UK.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you, and you're totally right. There's too much reaction. And that makes me think, wait a minute, haven't we put into position and power people that we expect to have enough intelligence to at least set a goal and have some smarts? Set some smarts behind the goal. Okay, so how are we going to be specific about this? How are we going to measure this? Just be realistic, attainable, all of that. and just get to where you want to reach, your goal. But it seems when I speak to Sadiq and the other people in position, they don't have a solution, they don't have any goals, they don't have anything that they're actually working on. So I'm thinking to myself, did you guys actually pass any exams? Did you have any academic, knowledge or anything about you? Because you have to combine that with what you have in your heart. So the both combined will produce that individual that can come up with a solution. So I'm using the knowledge that I've gained in life and my experience, and I'm using my academic knowledge that I've learned, because when I left school, that's when my education began. So I'm using that knowledge to combine together to say, okay, here's how we tackle knife crime. First, change the narrative. Because the narrative's all wrong, and it makes some people think that this has got nothing to do with us. These are these people's problems. It's not enough to do. No. This affects everybody. This affects everyone. And everybody should be playing a part. So let's not point at the police. They need to do their bit, but we can't put all the responsibility on them. We can't look at Khan and say, you're supposed to sort this out. We can't put everything on them. Parents, everyone's supposed to play their part. You can't have all these kids running around and then complain about them. So whose kids are they then? Whose kids are running around at 12 and 1 o'clock in the morning? Whose kids are carrying these stuff? A lot of them have got knives and they're taking from the house. Do you know what I'm saying? So, how deep, how serious are we taking this? Or are we just looking at it like, it's definitely not my kids, it's those bad kids out there? But it could well be, because I've met some really well-to-do young guys who are out there who share with me their stories. And their mindset when they look at, Prince, I stabbed this guy, but it wasn't that serious, I didn't go that deep. And I have to say, okay, so when did you learn this surgery? Did you get all this knowledge about being a doctor to understand where to stab him? Do you know what I'm saying?
I know people like that.
Yeah, but that's his mindset. And that needs to be changed. You have to break down his beliefs. And it's almost like a table with legs. And you can switch that belief system and put something else in. And now he's got something else that he holds on to and he understands. And now we can move forward, because your beliefs will produce how you act. We only act based on what we believe.
Brendan.
Yes, ma'am.
Looking back at your fighting career,
Uh-huh.
was there any particular match where you thought, yeah, that was just crazy? Like, does any kind of match
Yeah.
stand out for you?
Yeah. Go on YouTube and type in Prince and Michael Gale, or Prince and Gale. Then you'll understand. I went back in my changing room after that fight, and I didn't take off my boots or my shorts. I just stood under the shower like this. And just let the water run on my head. And I thought, why the hell did you choose this as a job? Honestly, my head, I can't explain how my head felt. It felt like that it got damaged in the fight. That's how my head felt. It was like, wow, this is serious. This job is serious, what I'm doing. Anything could happen at any time. And that's why I love Carly, because he said, look, Mark, you don't know if the next fight's your last fight. So ensure you get paid each fight properly, and ensure you have that in mind and understand that. So that was really important. Carly was really real. So yeah, that was a crazy moment in my career fighting Gale, because it really woke me up to how boxing is not just some little sport, and I don't know, I'm the victor and I do really well. I didn't see that guy fight again afterwards. He didn't fight. He retired after that fight. So, and I'm not surprised, because if I felt like that, how did he feel? And we were both hurt. So check that one out, Prince v. Gale. Yeah, you're laughing, sound like he's watched it. And they're both wailing away like drunks on the street. That's the commentator, that's what the commentator said. And there's one bit in it that I'm wetting myself. I look absolutely funny. I missed this punch and my legs do this dance. It's just so funny, you gotta watch it.
See, when you're involved in a fight like that,
Yeah.
when do you realise that you've gained something special.
When do you realise that you...
Yeah, that you've gave something special to the
Okay.
sport, because that's what people watch it for, is a fight like that.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's caveman-like,
Yeah.
we're all about blood and guts, and everybody loves them. So when do you realise, when can you appreciate it?
Afterwards, you appreciate it, but in the fight, you make decisions. So that's two different things. Afterwards, you will really appreciate, because now you can look at what you've done. And most of the things I appreciated only were appreciated after my career was over. I never really realised what I'd actually done to come from a homeless kid at 15 to become #1 in the country as a light heavyweight. I never really sat long enough for a moment to take in what I'd actually been doing. I was just doing it. But I never sat down and said, Prince, do you realise what you're achieving here? I just set the goal and said, I've got to do this, I have to make this happen, or I don't want to be a bum, I don't want to be somebody that never makes it in life. So I had to. It was only afterwards when I was lying there for months on end with a leg just with a brace all the way to my nutsack, did I just lie there and think, wow, you used to train 4 times a day, from 5, 6 in the morning, different sessions, then another one at 9, 10, then another one in the early afternoon, then another one in the evening. That was my life, swimming, an extra session in cardiovascular, and just anything I could do, just gym work, technical, 2-3 hours in the gym, just work. It just became my life, so it became a natural part of my life. I didn't think about it, it was just what I got up and done, and I enjoyed it, because I knew it was going to produce. You know, I hear a lot of young people say, oh, that's long. Well, how else are you going to get there? I've never seen a quick route there. Because if I get there the quick way, what do I have to share with anybody? See, I realized this when I was starting to live a life where I'm working towards my goals. I looked back and said, that's why I couldn't really make it in being a criminal. Because the money came quick, the money went quick, then I had to do it all over again. What was I really learning? But on the journey to trying to believe and achieve and set goals, I was actually learning things, and it was changing my character, and I was becoming a different person. So now I had something to give to my children as a dad. I had some knowledge that I could share with them, but I didn't have none when I wasn't going through it, because fear kept me where I was. It was easier to rob someone and do an undercover job, an inside job. It was easier to do a stake out a place and then say, boom, here's the day, than it was to work hard to get mine. That's just an insight into the mind of some of these young people. This is how they think. This helpful to anyone?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes. Can I just say, here's your
Oh, sweet. Lovely.
You're part of Team BTR now.
Hey! Oi, oi!
Well, I was going to say we'll all do it together, but... That's the one, don't let me go over there. There's questions over there. You can do it while we pretend to do our shots.
Mr. Prince,
Yes, ma'am.
has anyone ever told you that perhaps you should have been a politician?
Yes, I get messages on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram telling me to run for mayor.
Yeah, perhaps you should.
I think you should.
Just laugh.
Everyone cheer if you think you should run for mayor.
That's because you've all had a few shots of brandy.
Question.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Certainly don't look at that.
You said obviously about cutting off the Wi-Fi. What's better to go for? Is it better to go straight to the parents, or the kids, or into the schools?
Okay, for me, my passion is about young people, because I recognize that young people do have the power to make decisions, and I want to empower them to do this. Because at 15, how could I be on the streets on my own and survive and get to this point in my life? Sometimes we don't give young people the credit that's due to them, that they can make the right decisions if they are developed in the right way. So I know parents have to do the developing, and there is a platform and a forum where we need to be helping parents, because I think parent skills have kind of gone downhill a bit, if we're all going to be a bit honest. When I meet parents and talk with parents, it's almost like it's so quick for your child to just be big. You know, you just leave them to their own devices, give them a phone, give them a tablet, give them a laptop, and then kind of bringing up their self in a way, and you just buy them the clothes, you get them the food. But what input, compared to how the generation was focused on building their young people and ensuring that they had manners and they conducted themselves in a certain way, that's not so important to parents nowadays. This is just from what I'm seeing from parenthood. And sometimes you realise when the child's acting up at school and you think, man, what's wrong with this child? Then the parent comes in. The parent comes in and you think, oh my goodness, this is where the child gets it from. And the parents cussing the teacher's trying to help their child, you know, and the parents coming in, you don't tell my child that, blah, 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 and you think, my days. So you understand what's happening here. So there is a platform needed for more parent support groups, bringing them together. So that will definitely be an extension, because what a part of the vision is, not just to do the campaign to tour, that's phase 1. I only told you about phase 1. Phase 2 is this. When I go around to schools and I do talks, I'm telling you this is the honest truth. There's girls, there's guys, they can't get them out the auditorium. They wanna slip me written messages and notes. Here's some of the notes I get from girls, yeah? I'm self-harming. I've let this guy have sex with me. I'm so distressed, he doesn't care. I feel suicidal. I've had these notes as well. I get notes on my social media as well with young guys and young girls talking about how they've been around certain people, but they're making them do things. So there's some serious issues out there. So phase 2 is about supporting. So when we go around the schools, many young people say, can we come down to where you are? Well, I haven't got anywhere. I want somewhere, but I haven't got anywhere. If I had the money, that money would go into having a place where we can have parent support groups to come in for sessions. It would have a gym, because together. So let's work together and build your health and build your mindset. Let's have different workshops to be able to teach you and develop you and enable you to become powerful and reach your full potential. This is what the building would look like, even if it was just a 1 floor that had a gym and we had workshop space. That would be very powerful. We could have a massive impact on knife crime in that place. And what we could do is show how it works, and then what happens is people will want to copy that model. So we want to create a model that works and it shows that it's evidence-based, and look at the outcomes to this. This is all we want to do. But we've been unable to do it. We went to the mayor, he said, yes, you're pushing against an open door. We're gonna make sure we support you. But for me, if I've shown you all the evidence already, don't tell me I'm pushing against an open door. Open the door and hand out the money and say, okay, what are the outcomes that we're expecting from you? Okay, so when is it you going to deliver these outcomes? So we sign on the dotted line, show you what we're going to produce, and then we'll produce that. But you produce the money, because I've already shown who I am. What more do you want? So I have to jump through hoops with 100 other people, 100,000 other people to get a bit of chump change that you're sharing, that you say you want to get rid of knife crime, but the people that are actually making it happen have to play this game to get funding. I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's right. Let's get it right. Let's honor the people who have been working hard and proving themselves over the years consistently. Remember, I haven't taken a foot off the pedal to go out there since I left the court, since I left the Old Bailey 3 court cases, you know, they put me through to get justice for my son. So my son gets killed outside school and I have to go through 3 court cases to get justice. Come on, man, it's cut and dry. And I'm looking at a jury saying, oh, hung jury. Okay, what was his line of defense? I didn't mean to stab him, I just wanted to cut his top. Oh, okay. And there's a hung jury on that. Really? There's no justice. Yes, ma'am.
Do you think that the justice system failed you because your son was black?
Wow. She said, do I think that the justice system failed me because my son was black?
No, because I feel like
I feel like if his son was white, it would have been different.
I think that probably in the last year in London, knife crime has spread so much that everyone is so worried.
Yeah.
And what I would like to know is, are the other communities that are probably not so black, maybe more white communities and more Asian communities, also acknowledging the problem is more widespread? Because obviously, as we all know, knife crime was always pinpointed into black communities rather than everybody else. The problem is everybody else. The fact that we're not acknowledging it in white societies or middle class societies means
I really appreciate that. Because no one doesn't hear about the cases that I go and see. So one organisation, I won't name who they are, they called me up, said we need some special services to help this guy. Now this guy's a well-off guy. His family, he's a white guy, he's doing well, his mum's got money, his dad's got money, comes from a good home. And this guy, oh man, he's been caught with knives. Imagine this year, he's been caught with knives countless times. And I'm sitting before him, I'm saying, so have you ever felt the consequences for carrying knives? No. No, they let him off. They put him on an order, they put him on something, but he's never felt the consequences of carrying knives. And this same young brother has stabbed people. Okay? He's stabbed people. So what's up with the system?
I think the question I'm asking is more, do you think we're actually making a move from it being just stereotypically black young youths?
I think we are.
The wider society.
Yeah, I think people are recognising a little bit more that the narrative that the media was trying to portray that's not working so well now, and people are waking up and recognising, hold on a minute, this actually affects everyone, in every culture, in every society. To answer your question, people are waking up, and more individuals like myself that can come out and speak as well, that helps to educate people about what's really going on, that it's not knife crime, it's mindset. It's a mindset. We need to change the mindset of these young people and change their narrative that they have about carrying knives, because they have a belief about carrying knives. All we have to do is meet them, share this experience with them. They are broken. How many children have I spoken to? They're crying, young men, young women. They didn't realize the hurt and the pain that they're causing in their own community. And then now you can break down this belief system that they have, that it's okay, it's not okay, and it should never be an option. And that's the powerful message that we're going to go around sharing with these young people. And we're going to want them to evidence it and stand. It's a call to action. You show us what you're going to do to stand against knife crime, to save your child that is going to be coming years from now. Because that's what I'm going to challenge them about. What are you going to do for your child in the future? All of you want to have children. When I talk to you, do you want a little boy that looks like you and runs around and says, Daddy? Yeah. Do you want a little girl? Yeah. They all want their children. So what are you going to do for them? And this is something you have to do for your children. This is serious stuff, and you can contribute something powerful right now. So I'm like the piper for children when it comes to sharing this message, because they react in a way that what really inspires them to get up and make a change and do something different. The problem is just resources, and I don't believe that should be a problem. I think our community, screw those in power. we put them there. So if they're not doing the job, let's do the job. Let's do the job. And what the problem is, we don't believe that we can do the job. We don't believe that we can change the situation. So we've made ourselves powerless. So how do you think the young people are going to feel if we feel powerless? Because all you hear about was, oh, what can we do about knife crime? Duh, no. Wrong attitude. Because young people feed off that. They realize that you are powerless. So you think that they're going to believe that they can change this? They are hopeless. We're living in a hopeless society. We need to have hope. We need to have belief. And then this is infectious and will impact on other people's lives. Yes, sir.
I've spent a wee bit of time in Thailand.
Yeah, so have I. Great place, isn't it?
Awesome, fantastic.
Yeah.
In Thailand, it's the belief that like, the parents will go and work, the village will bring up the kids.
Yeah.
You know, so people over there, kids over there don't run riot because this is the people that brought them up.
Yeah.
I think that's something you've got in the UK. Everybody's just here to fend for themselves, kind of.
Yes. Everyone's looking at. Some of us don't even know the neighbours and chat to our neighbours, and there's no community feeling about us anymore. I grew up where when people came round, you always offered them food. You never went round people's house without bringing anything round, you know. So that was a giving. You was always contributing, and that was what I learned from when I was little. Let's give, let's contribute. And maybe young people don't see that. They see everyone going for self. So once you have a selfish society, then that's the remedy for disaster.
They're easy to be manipulated by maybe gangs or whatever, you know, the young people when they feel as if they're no support, they're easy to be manipulated by older people that might look up to, people that might have a wee bit of money on them or whatever, they'll look to that rather than look to people they respect that's brought them up, you know, take advice to that.
Okay. So I'm inviting you to look at this. When a young person says, I'm doing this because I want money and I want to be able to have things, let's look further than that. Because it's not that they're after. What will the things make them feel? What will getting the things do for them? So I'll show you that it's not the things they're after. It's how it makes them feel. So now they feel like they're somebody. So really, it's not the things. You just want to feel important. You want to feel significant. You want to feel like somebody. And you've done something. So if we teach them that there's a better way to go about obtaining this feeling, and if you could let go of this belief, this leg of belief that you have, that's holding up this table, that believes that this is the way to get to feel important, is if you are driving in a Merc, if you've got brand name garments on. If you can change that belief and say, you can still get this from doing good things, you can get this from achieving, and you can still get your Mercs, you can still get your good clothes, but you haven't poisoned your own community to be able to do that, then what happens is people make the better choice, because we're not innately wicked. Most people, you know, and a lot of the young people that I meet, they're not. They've been hurt, they've been let down, their parents on drugs, parents breaking up in relations. All these things hurt the children and have an impact on how they behave. Because remember, it's not easy going from 12, 13, 14, that's a messed up time. We can all remember that time when we went through stuff.
One bad decision, your full life can change.
That's correct, that's correct. So it's serious stuff. You have been great.
You've been fantastic. It is really quick. You're only getting this because you're wearing a BTR cap.
Really quick, thank you. And I don't need to get political at all. You've mentioned a few things about your experiences with your campaign and your charity. You mentioned Sadiq.
Yeah.
Has there been? And again, I'm not expecting a political answer. Or I'm not looking for one. Is there anybody who you have come across from a position of power in politics through your campaign who has shocked you in regards to their intelligence on the subject? So has there been anyone you've come across who you've gone, he actually seems to know what I'm talking about? Or has it been generally negative?
Good question. I'll say this. when I'm speaking about Khan or anyone else, I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just trying to share my experience. Because I believe that these people, some good people that you meet, but maybe they just don't get it and they're just not in touch with the community and it can't be easy being around politicians, and it's a certain mindset that they have where he wants to leave a legacy. That's what he's interested in, and it seems like knife crime has become the thorn in his side, and he won't be able to leave a legacy unless he tackles knife crime. So he's just thinking, let me deal with someone that can make a change in this area. So he might not be able to see that I could help in this area, because I said to him, you've got a team that you said, have you seen the Sun newspaper special knife team? Okay, I saw this big page in the Sun one day. I don't buy it myself, but I saw this big page in the Sun, and someone said, look at this, Prince, why aren't you in there? I said, it doesn't matter to me, but he's got a special knife crime team. Well, what are they doing? What have they shared with us, what they're doing, what they come up with? Why are you a special? Why are you a special knife crime team? And they were a team of different people, of colour. That's the first time I've seen people of colour, you putting them to the front, politicians saying, this is what you guys are. Now, I looked past that and thought, really? The first time you give some real position of power to people of colour in government is when you make a special knife crime team. Really? What message does that send out once again?
Yeah, exactly.
Simple, I know. You don't take Einstein to work now. There's only black people in this group. It's a special knife crime team. Nothing to do with us. They've got all these black people here to sort this problem out. It's their problem. And it's not. Because I see all cultures all the time in this that are causing serious damage, and from different levels, different classes of people as well that you would not expect. So yeah, I hope that answers your question, even though I forgot what it was again. It's cool. But basically I'm not trying to be negative about them. I don't have any bitterness towards them, politicians, what they're doing. They just got to do what they do. But I think us to take back our power, we have to begin to choose and decide what we are going to do. And first believe that we can do something. We can, and we can support each other if we don't particularly know what to do. But everyone can take responsibility for their actions and what they're doing, whether it's in their home, in their neighborhood, when they meet young people. That's something that's taking responsibility. That's tackling knife crime in your own area, in your own life. You know, you've made a stand, taken a stand. So we can all do something.
Yeah, that's something I work on.
We have one question, sorry, from the smoking area.
That's so quick.
Yeah, that's something I do want to commend you on tonight. Is that something that stood out for me is not what they're going to do for us, what we do for our community. I think that's a great message, and I think that's a perfect message that should be especially said throughout all the communities, all the schools. So I commend you on that. That's a fantastic message.
Awesome.
I know that we're in a rush as a last question, and it was because 3 people said this in the smoking area. It was quite a pertinent question, I think. How do you forgive the way you have? Like, we were talking about it outside after listening to you. You're very inspirational. We've loved hearing you today. But we just want to know, what is it inside you gives you the ability to forgive? Because we don't forgive very simple things.
Yes, very true.
As we're all bad people for that, I suppose. But how do you do that?
Okay, I look at myself. I look at myself, and I look at the mistakes I've made on my journey. And we continue to make mistakes on our journey, we all do. And we would like to be forgiven for messing up. So let's not rate it as that's terrible, we don't forgive that, that's not so bad, because that means we'll all have different ratings for different things, because we all think differently. So if we all think on one page, like forgiveness is the key, because forgiveness isn't about the other person, it's about you. It's about freeing yourself to move on freely. I live life freely. I am free. When I meet parents that are victims of this epidemic, this sickness, they ask me, I'd like to be like you. And I said, you can. When I said I forgave, I didn't feel it in here, but I chose that I wanted to forgive. So for something to begin the cycle to happen, you have to make a decision, don't you? You have to decide, this is what... So when I made a decision to become a champion, I'm going to become a champ. Did I become a champion at that moment? I didn't, did I? Did I have to go through the process to become what I believed and spoke about? So speak it into existence. Go through that same process. Speak it into existence what you want. But just like Paulie, we resist change. We think that we are doing somebody else a favor when we forgive them, not realizing that we release ourselves from this jail that we put ourselves in. It's self-inflicted jail that we put ourselves in. And I am free out of this jail that I was trapped in. I could not be able to do what I'm doing today because I would have been in prison, whether it was an emotional one or a physical one. Because it could have maybe been a physical one if I kept this emotion. But it certainly was an emotional prison that I'd set myself, and it's a life sentence. Let's not forget that, guys.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're all going to hear it, but can we please, a big round of applause and cheer for Dr. Mark Prince. Don't forget, there are copies of the Prince of Peace at the front right now. Please, if you're interested in the story, come up and have a copy. It's absolutely moving. You will really feel the story. Thank you once again for joining us for show 100. Never doing this again, so don't bother asking us. But it's been an absolute pleasure. And as I said earlier on, if we can make even a small bit of change for the charity and get Mark out to some schools, we've made a difference. So thank you very much for joining us and helping our cause. It's been a pleasure. Have a good evening.